Welcome
back to the TAE Time Podcast. Hope everyone's good. Happy International Women's Day. Oh, you lovely ladies. We're recording this on International Women's Day, which is yesterday. So for you guys, yesterday was International Women's Day. Well, you guys are probably seeing it today or whenever you're listening to it. But March 8th was International Women's Day. Shout out to our lovely, lovely woman of, the podcast and every lovely woman that listens to the podcast. You guys are amazing people. And
that was sweet.
You guys deserve your credit, everything.
Aww. You are a cutie. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day. Women's Day is every day.
Every day. Treat your women good every day.
Every day we deserve to be treated well, taken care of.
Exactly.
Love and affection.
Oh, and happy early Mother's Day to all the mothers there.
That too.
Shout out moms.
Moms.
Shout out the moms.
All the moms.
All the mothers.
But how have you been? Look at you. You look different.
Yeah,
you look
so
different.
If you guys are watching this and you're not listening to it, then you can notice this should be my weekly stand-up of my hair. I got it braided. I did it on Monday. I'm probably taking it out by the time this is out. It's probably already taken out due to the fact that it just didn't stay well. Just due to a numerous amount of reasons. Don't get me wrong, it was done well, but some parts were a little bit and due to that and my erratic sleeping, like I move a lot when I sleep, my do-rag would fall off and stuff. Like it was fine when my hair was low and my do-rag would fall off because it's like whatever, it's like okay, waves, whatever, because I never cared about doing waves, but now it actually messes up my braids. And as I said, since my braids weren't ultra tight from the very get-go, as in like some parts were not braided properly, it meant they are falling off very easily. But have a look for everyone who's watching. There you go. If you've seen it on my Instagram or follow me or whatever, you would have seen it. But yeah,
I don't think you put it on your Instagram.
I put it on my story.
You did? Okay.
Like on my story.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not too bad, honestly. Can't complain. Pretty interesting. At first it was tight. I did feel tight the very first day. I was like, oh, this thing's tight. But then after, you actually just get used to it very quickly. Like very quick. Like the next day I just I didn't care.
It's a definite facelift.
The facelift.
Definite facelift.
Facelift. Disrespectful.
I'm just saying. Like when I braid the front of my hair, it's like.
Yeah. But so that's pretty much mine. And then I guess maybe another one, a sad day in the parish, as Irish people say. It's like Akira Toriyama died. We found out today on International Women's Day.
Rest in peace.
Shout out Dragon Ball. Everyone who watches that, and Dragon Ball is a very big part of a lot of people's lives and stuff like that. So shout out. But what's your weekly stand-up?
My weekly stand-up. I think it's just related to all the bad books I've been reading the past.
You have been on a spree.
Honestly, bad book after bad book after bad book. It was just like, where's all the good stuff? I haven't read a good book since
January.
I swear, yeah, it's been that long. Like I think I've read 3 books in the past 3 weeks. I try to do one a week, but I've read 2 last week, and they've both been bad. So I just wanted to vent about that because I'm just a little disappointed with the books I've been reading.
Nothing worse than dedicating time to a book that's just not good.
Yeah, and I have to finish them.
Yeah.
I literally have to finish them, which I think makes it worse because I'm not really there for the enjoyment. It's just,
you're just trying to
more
get
reason to bash it.
Yeah, you're just trying to get through the motions, exactly.
So if there's any good book recommendations that you guys have, please drop them into our DMs, comments, wherever you want. So
exactly,
that would help me. Anyways, we know what you're here for today.
First episode of the month officially. So you know what that means. It means your free Reddit episode that's not locked behind the Patreon paywall.
Although we did have the Valentine's one.
Yeah,
we were
which
good
is
for
free.
that one.
We give you that one for free.
If
you want to go listen to it, and then pay us after that.
It was funny, actually. It was a good episode.
It was a good episode too.
I listened to it, so.
Guys.
But I listened to all our episodes. Someone here doesn't.
I listen to them when I'm editing.
I listen to them because I enjoy them and when I'm editing them. Anyways, on to the first story of today. So, am I the asshole for telling my mom I will move out instead of paying $600 a month for rent. I'm 25 and I was paying $60 a week rent for a few years. I recently started a new temp job that pays pretty decent, and they decided to keep me with the company last week. This morning, my mom texted me saying rent starts up again, $150 a week. I just told her I will move out. I already pay for my own meals. I only have my small bedroom to call my own in their house. I can rent a studio apartment 3 or 4 times the size of my room for a few hundred more, or could rent a room with friends for less than my mom is trying to charge me. It would be one thing if they cooked and cleaned for me every day and I was raking up their bills, but I do my own thing, pay my own bills. I never really even cross paths with my parents besides when I'm getting off work. My mom's definitely pissed that I said that, I can tell, but I'm also upset the person who birthed me is trying to get me to pay what I would pay a landlord for rent just to sleep in her house. Even $100 a week, I would have been more inclined to be okay with, but $600 a month just to be able to sleep at my parents' house seems a little high. If I am paying $600 a month, I think I would deserve my own spaces around the house also, as I would with a landlord. It seems having a landlord would be a better deal for me in this case.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I think we've definitely touched, I think, before on living with parents and like paying for stuff or whatever. I think it's completely normal to charge your kids stuff once they can afford it, because, you know, paying for stuff is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
In this economy, parents, it's hard for parents to have to feed themselves, let alone someone else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think expecting them to pay for stuff is completely understandable. However, $600 a month is extremely steep, I feel like. For $600 a month, like, I could have a room in an apartment with someone else, and like they said, at least that way they have some freedom around the house, right? Because when you live with your parents, I feel like you don't have as much freedom.
It's more restricted.
It's a little bit more restricted. So I don't think he's in the wrong for that.
No, I don't think so. It's not, especially because it doesn't sound like, oh, it's like, why are they charging me rent? It was like, they're charging me such a high amount for what I'm getting, which is understandable. You know, that's just a difference. Like, you know, maybe they feel like, oh, this is what we should be getting. All right, go rent it out to someone else, because like that doesn't make sense in this current market, right? Literally, that's like in that market. Clearly, it's like he could get a room for bigger for less. So it's like, why am I paying this much for this? And obviously, as you said, the freedom and everything, I think definitely without a doubt that they make the right choice of like saying that. I would only say that maybe it would be like, to keep the peace, instead of saying like, hey, I don't like that you're charging me this because of bloody all the XYZ, just be like, yeah, I'm gonna move out. And then if they ask why, you're gonna be like, well, I just think it's more worth it for me.
I think it's a little late. You already told them. You
know, like, or whatever. But yeah, but that's what I'm just thinking. Like, you know, it's one of those things that's the best way to approach it. That's how I would personally approach it. And it's like, oh, because of XYZ. But first, you just be like, yeah, I'm just.
Would you not try to at first be like, hey, I feel this is a little steep, before you're like, hey, I'm moving out?
Well, I think like when you're able to be on your own, you should be on your own anyway, because like I don't think you should stay with your parents for too long. Like, it's just an inconvenience, really. Like, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like I love you, my family, stuff like that, but it's always good to have your own space, you know, especially when you're an adult. They're an adult. It's not like you're a kid sharing space with your family. You're an adult sharing the space with another adult, you know, that happens to be your family, which makes it even harder than just being two adults sharing the space. You know, like there's like, you can give out to like other adults for things. It's a lot harder for you to give out to your parents for things.
Like, you're not cleaning this how I wanted to clean.
Yeah, exactly, and stuff like that.
Say
so
that.
Let's.
But then what's your take on, like, you know, rules, like still having rules? If you're to move with your parents now at the age of 26, if, you know, your parents were to impose rules, like, how would you take that? Like,
you just have, like, if you're in their space, you got to take it. Like, the same way that if you lived like with a landlord, like, for example, you would have to take whatever rules that they have.
So even if you had to pay for everything by yourself,
like, take for example, like, you know, there are some houses in which a landlord is there and they have rules that's like, hey, we have a curfew here, please.
I do think that's a bit rare, though.
You'd be surprised. Like, when I was looking for housing, that was so common. Like, when I remember when I first moved to Dublin and I was looking for places, there were so many places where like landlords living in. But I think
that's a little different. I think that the landlord can't tell you can't cook at 12. The landlord can't tell you didn't clean the bathroom properly. The landlord can't. Like,
you can't cook at 12. Yes, they can.
They can't do that if you're
absolutely
renting a space.
They can. No, like, literally, I remember there was one of those ones. I remember seeing on Rent.ie, and I was like living with the landlord, and then they had the whole rules. They're like, oh, no cooking, no going
I think
out to
that's
whatever
rare.
after 10.
I think that's
stuff
rare.
like
We
that.
can all agree
Like,
that's very rare.
But what I'm saying is like it can happen, and the same way I wouldn't want that is the same way like I wouldn't want that with my parents, which is like just stay away from me, like I don't want that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, and obviously like it's a little bit more digestible with your parents because like maybe you can kind of like work him out or whatever, and it's like all your parents. But like having paid for something and then having all the rules, oh my god, fuck that.
It's like, oh, am I doing enough here?
No way.
No, I agree. I think move out for your own sanity anyway, for your own life experience. Living by yourself is good, always. So do it.
Yeah.
So the next story. Am I the asshole for telling my brother's girlfriend to F off? Dun dun dun. My wife and I lost our teenage son earlier this year. It's been heart-wrenching. My wife actually got fired from her job. She fell into a deep depression, as can be imagined. My brother has a girlfriend, 22, and she dabbles in the spiritual world and into all that kind of stuff. 3 nights ago, we had them over for dinner for my youngest birthday party. In front of my depressed wife and my 2 young children, she said, "I can feel your son here." I say, "Excuse me?" She tells my wife that she can feel his presence here and that she just knows she can help us make contact and help us with closure. My youngest is confused, starts crying. My wife's on the verge of tears. My brother's staring at her in awe, like it's this great thing. I told her she needed to stop that or she can leave. She got upset and said she was trying to help us with closure that I don't understand. I told her to F off and leave. My brother got angry at me. We got into a big argument. They left. My wife is upset but thinks maybe I should have listened to her. She's desperate. My brother's texting me how disrespectful I was to his girlfriend and I need to apologize. That's not just something you say to grieving parents. Am I in the wrong?
No. Like, I don't care even if you have a proven track record or continuously. No, it's not the place or time. Like, let the family grieve. Like, let them grieve. Like, don't get me, like, a lot of that shit is bullshit. Let's be honest. It's such bullshit. Like, and like, so many of those people believe their own bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So, like, why are you... It's just, like, reliving the pain.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, my God. It's giving false hope when like the person should be trying to like come to terms with what's going on, and now like it's like sets that back, and I would be upset too. Like this, like I'd be so upset. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like like please, like, what's wrong with you?
The absolute trauma that can cause for the younger kids.
Yeah, they're like, wait, what do you mean?
It's crazy.
Nah, I literally have nothing more to say than like I think. I would have been exactly the same, just be like, fuck off, get out of my house.
I was
please.
always actually scared of like haunted places myself.
Yeah, but I would never I never go to a place that's deemed haunted like for fun, guys.
No,
that's crazy.
No,
just
but like imagine it's like, oh yeah, your house is, your son is here. I'd have to leave. I don't know. I'm just imagining being also the child listening to this, and literally I would start crying because I'm like so confused and lost and scared.
Yeah.
Ultimately, unrelated a little bit, but so we're watching Love Is Blind, right? And I know, how did we get here? But it's about like childhood trauma. I saw this TikTok that this is kind of spoiler, but if you haven't seen it, if you just letting you know, FYI. So Clay and AD, right, goes to get married, whatever, and he says no. And this comment pointed out how like there was no one there for the little girls watching all this happen, really confused. They were just like watching their like auntie cry, and they were like what? And she was saying that she feels for them in that moment, that there was no one to console them or take them away or like whatever. I don't know, I just thought that was
interesting. Yeah, I guess I never thought about it that, but I assume like they would have just explained like, oh yeah, just blah blah.
I don't know, protect the kids' innocence, okay?
Yeah,
protect
like I don't know.
The kids.
Yeah, I guess like there is like why you'd bring the kids, but then at the same time it's like if he had said yes, like that would have been like what, like a
no, but
thing,
as in like
no,
as soon as that happened, they should have been consoled. Like, oh, come here.
That's interesting. Actually,
okay,
never thought about that.
I think some like you know, parents are very used to being like, yeah, well, kids have to learn reality, but like that's just taking away their innocence, you know, let kids be kids.
Fair.
Yeah. Anyways, that was quite the story, hey? On to the next one. This one's a bit long, so enjoy. How do I keep myself from starving when I visit my husband's family? My husband and I only visited his family out of state twice. This time, our flight arrived just after dinner time. I bought a bag of nuts at the airport to hold me off until we ate. His dad picked us up at the airport and drove us straight to a family party. It was catered. Now here's where it gets tricky. I have a couple of medical issues that require me to eliminate certain foods from my diet, such as gluten or dairy. I know it is confusing for others and usually can find something I can eat. This time it was a chicken wings and celery. We spent the night at his parents' house. The next morning I was offered a few pieces of melon for breakfast. Nothing else was offered to me in the way of food the rest of the day. We flew back out around 6 p.m. My husband raided his parents' refrigerator and ate some of their leftovers that I couldn't eat. He had a second helping later in the day and nibbled on other food that had out for their guests. His dad apologized for not having anything I could eat. They never prepared a lunch or put anything out for lunch. I didn't feel comfortable going through their kitchen to look for food I could eat. Before we left for the airport to return, I told my husband I was going to have to eat at the airport because I was starving and getting hungry. I don't have a car to go out and pick something up. I can't pack much to eat since I'm flying. The last time I was there for 3 days and I had 3 meals. I see this as different in our families. My parents would have made a breakfast for all of us to sit and eat together and a lunch. My husband will also come home from work and raid the refrigerator as I'm making dinner. Then tell me he's stuffed and can't eat what I cooked. I think they just don't eat together.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess like even if they don't eat together, it would have been good for them to just have options in the house for her. You know?
Yeah.
Like even if they don't eat together, it's like, oh, hey, I know you can't eat a lot of stuff, so we bought like a few things here. Like feel free to help yourself, you know? Like, because she said that, oh, she didn't want to go look for stuff, but like it would have been nice if they had come to her initially, like, hey, we know like a lot of stuff like we have you can't eat, and you know like we don't really tend to eat together, but feel free to like we bought some stuff that was like gluten free, XYZ, whatever, and it's all here in the fridge, and it's here in this cabinet. Like, so you know, if you want to spruce yourself something up, feel free. Order like, you know, whatever.
But like if you're someone who say has intolerances or allergies or whatever, do you expect when you go to someone's home for that to be catered?
No, absolutely
or do
not.
you bring your own meals with you?
No, I would bring my own stuff, but like I think in this scenario of like when it's like family like that, I would hope they'd be a little bit more considerate of me. But obviously I would still bring my own stuff without a doubt,
right.
You know? And if they do, that's like a bonus, you know? Like, but definitely like, especially if you're like, yeah, it's probably harder or whatever, and there's people, whatever. Like I would always bring my own stuff, but I can understand like, you know, it would be nice, the feeling that, oh, it's really nice that they thought about me, you know?
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't blame them per se, but at the same time, like after X amount of time, like let's say we've been together for a long time, I would hope that they'd be a little bit more understanding and have like at least a thing or two for me.
They're both 57 years old.
Oh.
I forgot to mention that.
Like the couple?
Yeah, and so I assume the parents are quite old. Like,
okay, that makes a big difference though.
Yeah, they're both like in their 50s.
Yeah, just bring food.
Yeah. Like at that point they'd probably be grateful. But have you ever been at someone's house and like you're like, oh, there's nothing for me to eat?
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Yeah,
I'm
like,
just like I don't like any of these things. Yeah, just be hungry.
Just be hungry.
Like just be hungry.
Like, do you know, I think to avoid those kind of situations, like I would definitely bring something as like, even if it's like I thought I'd bring a little something, but more it's like I'm thinking about myself, something to eat for me.
Yeah, that's also smart. I think that's a very definitely good cop out. Definitely like
play it off.
Hey guys, I hope you like this. If you don't, that's no worries. But
yeah,
I'll just stop bringing.
And then just eat the whole thing first.
For yourself.
No, I think that's the way that it kind of works out. Because you also never know, like you might not be into whatever that families
It's
into.
cooking anyway.
You know,
So, yeah.
you might not like it, you might not whatever. So it's like, just thought I'd bring an extra dish. That we have an extra dish.
Now my parents are gonna be weird every time you bring food to the house.
No, because I hate showing up without stuff, like without something, or even if it's like a snack, right? But this is if I'm going to people's houses to eat. It's very even rare that we don't really go to people's houses to eat.
No,
We host dinners.
I don't. I'm just gonna stop there. Go on.
What do you mean? You
No,
don't
no, nothing.
But I usually like people come over here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I love to ask everyone like, hey, what do you eat? What do you not eat? And like if one of my friends is vegetarian, I'm gonna have something for her to eat.
Exactly.
You know? Gotta do that.
As
Okay.
a good host should.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next story. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to get rid of his dog? I married my husband 2 years ago. Let me start off by saying our home cultures were completely different. My husband grew up in Wisconsin and has had dogs all of his life. I'm from Mexico. My sister Rosa got rabies from a dog when we were both young and ended up passing from it. I tolerate dogs, but I honestly have a very bad fear of them. Ethan has a black Labrador, Layla. Layla would be a very good dog if she was on a farm herding sheep or something. But Layla lives with me and my husband in our house that isn't small necessarily, but becomes small for a dog like her. She has nipped me, jumped me, attempted to bite me, ran over my niece, etc. I never felt comfortable around her, but Ethan has had her for 5 years and is very attached to her, which I understand. But at the same time, I worried that one day I would regret it. I found out I'm pregnant and I'm 25 weeks pregnant currently. I'm having twins, and after the ultrasound, the first thing I thought was, Layla, I can barely get past her when I come in through the door, and if that's hard for me, I'm worried what it would be like, even more difficult to try to raise 2 babies with a dog like that around. She is hard enough to have in our house with 2 adults. How could I do that with 2 babies? I tell Ethan all the time that I'm concerned for our baby's safety with Layla, but he always says that I'm overreacting. I don't want her to get put down. I just want her to live somewhere else for at least a couple of years. Am I being unreasonable for this? This one's hard because...
What do you think?
No, what do you think?
I think it coming from like a fair place of like she's like worried, you know, she's a mother and she's worried that she's like, hey, like we're already struggling, like okay, maybe not you but I'm definitely struggling with this dog, you know, and it doesn't listen to me. It's always like jumping around and whatever, and I find it hard to manage, let alone with 2 kids that I have to manage. I don't think I can do this, you know, and I think that's a fair request, you know, as in like from her perspective, because she's just being real. Like, she's like, I don't know if it's not like, and it's then up to him to be like, hey, I will go above and beyond to make sure it's not an issue. And if the moment it does become like an issue that we have to deal with, then we will go take Layla somewhere, you know? Or it's like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. I have noticed it is a little bit hard. It probably will be hard. Let's just take Layla somewhere already before that even happens. I think that's the only 2 things he should be saying. I don't think it's like a retaliation, like, oh my God, how dare you? It's like, you're my wife. I can understand it. And let's see how we can go about doing this thing.
I don't know. I feel like people will eat you up for that because a dog is a child. It's someone's
and that's
child,
understandable.
You know?
Like, but
so
at
it's
the
like,
same time,
go get rid of your baby. Go give it away.
Like, I get it, but at the same
know?
time, it's like, this is also your wife, and this will be your literal children. As in, like, if she's coming to you with a concern, because she's not saying get rid of the dog, she's saying I am worried that it's going to be hard, and then it's for you to reassure them, and then to make sure, and then to see that through.
Right.
Like, reassure and see it through. You don't just say, "Oh, be fine," and then like let Leah just do whatever the fuck she wants when she's having the car. When she has the child and then like she's having a hard time, you know. Instead, it should be like, okay, it's gonna be fine, and then you take extra care to make sure Layla is like not acting up around the kids or around her, you know. Like, and if you can't do that, then something has to be done, you know. Like, no one's saying put the dog on, but you can send it back home, like to your parents in Wisconsin, and go take it to a farm, so on and so forth. And yes, it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing easy about this choice, but it's like, this is your wife and your future kids. you have to be serious. Like, you, as much as you love the dog, you also have to take them into consideration. You have to take everyone, all parties into consideration.
I agree, because I think now that kids are involved, it's a little bit different. You know, it's not like just them two, whatever. I don't know, I was asking all those questions, but I'm obviously on your side. Like, I as someone who, like, I don't hate dogs. I do have a fear of dogs.
Lol.
It's a little, like, they're a little unpredictable for me, you know? Cats, I feel like, are chill.
But they're also unpredictable.
Not really. Like, when they have their little
heebie-jeebies.
No, when they have their little heebie-jeebies, you just let them do whatever. But I feel like cats aren't going to pounce on me when I walk through the door and stuff like that. You know, it's a lot less likely, guys. I've had 2 cats, okay? I've experienced. Like, I don't know. Dogs are... And I would have a dog. That's not saying that I wouldn't have a dog. But I'm just saying there's this irrational kind of fear. My cousin got bit by our dog, our home dog, when we were younger.
I've been bit by many dogs.
Yeah, well...
But,
yeah,
like, it is what it is. You know? It's crazy.
What was I going to say about this? Yeah, look, I know that dogs can be seen as babies of the family, members, whatever. But I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to either rehome a dog or, you know, give it someone else's care for a while. This influencer that I watched, Natalie, right? I think she has 2 puppies or 1. And recently she's been talking about how she's finding it really difficult to deal with them. Like, she's just really aggravated. And she's like, I feel like I'm doing them a disservice by keeping them with me when someone else could, like, love them, having them around. And she was getting a lot of flack for that.
Absolutely, I can see it.
Because it's like, oh, why would you get them if you know you, whatever. And it's like, guys, relax. You know, like, you might just simply not be able to have these around, like, and it just is what it. Rehome them for a while. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we need to stop bashing people for these kind of things.
People
like,
give up kids because they can't take care of them.
So, you know, and a pet, like, guys, there's more important things in the world. It's
You let another person adopt your baby, the same way people let other people adopt
exactly
their babies.
Like, oh, I'm not ready for a kid. And I get it, because you have the dog with the intention of having it, that's why you get it. But you might get it and you're like, this is not for me.
Exactly.
You know? Okay, on to the last story of today. Would I be the asshole if I rescinded my offer to pay for a friend's birthday dinner after they picked somewhere I can't eat? My friend is turning 40 and I offered to pay for him and a group of our friends to have dinner anywhere Luke wanted. Luke knows I've been vegan since my 20s and it's never been an issue before. When I asked where he made reservations, he said a local BBQ place that is famous here for having a menu that mocks people who don't eat meat. Like, literally has a section that says vegetarian options, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I asked what he expected me to eat and he got huffy and said, well, it's my birthday, so it shouldn't matter. I should eat before getting there and just order drinks while everyone else eats dinner and still enjoys everyone's company. This sounds miserable to me. I had zero expectations of Luke picking somewhere vegan friendly. Hell, I expected him to pick a steakhouse and I would have been fine with a salad and some sides. I didn't expect him to choose somewhere that prides themselves on meat being in every single dish on the menu. I want to tell him never mind and buy him a traditional birthday gift instead, but feel like a massive a-hole for taking back my offer. I don't know what to do.
Take back that offer, Joe. What do you mean? What do you
With
mean?
haste.
No, I would actually be so vexed. Like, that's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here doing something for you out of the kindness of my own heart because you're my friend. Then you're like, And
the fact that, look, say they didn't pick the menu that mocks vegetarian, whatever. To have no options for your friend at all.
Even chips. Even little chips. Chips and a salad.
No, I wouldn't even be okay with that.
I'm saying even the bare minimum is chips and a salad. You're like, have some drink.
Yeah. But no, like, I just mean, say that this was just simply not, like, they have sides, but no real menus, like menu for a vegetarian option, what I mean. I could never bring my friend somewhere there that's willing to pay.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's insane. You're just a dickhead. Like, you actually are just, like, at that stage, you're just a dickhead. You're a dickhead for no reason. Like, how can you do that to someone that, like, is your friend for a long time? It sounds like they've been friends for a long time because he's like, oh, I've been vegan since 20 and he's known.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah.
like, you're just being, it's like, That shit just pisses me off when people are like just bad friends and like dickheads to their people. Like, it's like, who are you? Who even are you? Like, what, do you even care about this person at all? Like, what's wrong with you? You know, it's like such an asshole move to make. And honestly, like, I would be like, fuck you, I'm not even gonna get your present because of how disrespectful. No, honestly, because it's like, it's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's like, I've already told you I'm gonna do this for you because I care about you.
Yeah.
And then the minimum you could have done is thought about, okay, like, yes, I want to go somewhere I want to eat, but let me at least be kind of considerate of this other person because they're doing something out of their kindness and their own heart because of how much they like me, you know? And it's like, no, screw you. It's like, and they're not paying, and he's not paying for just, and he's not just paying for just that. It sounds like he's paying for the whole people. You know, that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, the group, yeah.
Like the group. And then it's like, oh, while we're all enjoying our food, you can just have drinks.
It kind of makes me question, like, what other kind of instances have been there in their friendship that maybe he's just brushed off as like, oh, it's just my friend, whatever.
Piece of shit.
Because it's like, his friend has known that he's been vegetarian since he was 20, so there's a lot of friendship there, like 20 years of friendship. Perhaps.
Well, it depends on whatever age, yeah.
Well, they're 40. He's turning 40.
Oh, so 20 years of fucking friendship. Like...
Yeah, what a shitty friend.
Guys, you need good friends in your life.
I wouldn't... No, I don't... If
too many people have enemies for friends.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of you guys have enemies for your friends and you can't see past it.
Open your eyes.
You know, like, your best friends are ops. You know, they're not there to see you win. They're there to see you suffer. Like,
it's unfortunate. It's sad, really.
Pathetic,
like. But I would still show up with a gift and then distance myself slowly.
I would not. I'd be like, fuck you, fuck yourself, fuck your birthday, stupid ass bitch. If you want to rekindle this thing, write me an apology. Bye-bye.
Write me an apology.
Yeah, a literal handwritten apology. I'm not joking. I'm being dead ass. Fuck you. You guys might think I'm like... I think people might think I'm like, oh, you're being overreactive. No. You guys really need to understand that you have been friends with this person for 20 odd years at least, minimum, because it's like they know you've been vegan since you were 20. Probably, so that means they're probably friends longer than that, like, you know, because they became vegan. And then for them to be like, I don't care about what you stand up. Like, once again, me and my friends have different opinions. There's the beliefs that they have that I don't have and beliefs I have that they don't have, right? But because we are friends, we will always respect each other.
Right. And
for you to straight be like, no, I don't respect you, and I'm going to take you to a place that makes fun of you. And, like, it's a different story if you guys are just, like, poking at each other. But this is, like, down and being like, just go have drinks. You have food before and then go have drinks.
I'm hoping it's a big fat joke.
That's just disrespectful. And I literally have... It means you have no respect for me, and respect is the foundation of anything. And if you have no respect for me, then why the fuck are we even friends in the first place? You know, honestly, guys, head it up. Just saying. I
agree. I'm with you on that one. Crappy friend, very crappy friend. Absolutely. But that's all we had for you today.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
It's a short episode, but
hope you guys enjoyed. You can get more if you go to the Patreon.
I swear we're more fun there. I think it's because we're chill on the couch.
Well, also we like. Though I take that back from the glitter, by the way. We have fun here too. It all really just depends on the day and day. But also at the same time, it like all really depends on like when we record these things and everything. Especially
I think as well, like just being on the couch and relax allows me to trauma dump a lot more. So if you guys want to hear more crazy stuff,
this just sounds like we're forced to go to the Patreon.
I'm really not forcing anything. I just genuinely mean, like, I feel like formally sitting here and like reading stories, it's just not a vibe. It doesn't feel conversational.
Maybe we should. What do you guys think? Do you guys think
should we take it to the couch?
Should we swap like our location for the first episode of the month? You know, like as well for you guys. Like, would you guys?
I think we should consider that.
Who knows? So we'll think about it. Go comment, talk about it, and let us know.
Till next time.
Peace.